Welcome to my sim world. I am building a bordello. For those of you who might not know what that term means, is basically a whorehouse. And the reason that I'm building this is to help me with the book that I'm writing. I may not have mentioned this before, but I am an indie author and I write interracial romances mostly. And I am working on a story that the idea came to me about 2 years ago when I was working on a bunch of biker romance books. And this character emerged, and I felt like she needed to have her own story. So this Bordello, in my head, it's situated in Louisiana. So I found a couple of pictures. I don't know if they're AI generated or what, but I found them on Google. And the front is based off of that. And I connected 2 buildings to it, but I'm not decorating those 2 buildings at all. The story, I guess, for this character, the book is called Katrina, and it will be on Amazon. It is actually on pre-sale right now while I'm writing it and finishing it up. But Katrina is a woman who was kidnapped from her family at about just before her 15th birthday. And her family for years has not known where she was. They didn't know if she was still alive or what. But part of her story starts to be revealed in a story about her brothers. And in that series, this biker series, The Road Beast, she's returned to Dallas and she is sneaking around and doing things. And her mother actually sees her. And, at first nobody believes the mother that, she's like, no, I know my kid, she's alive. And there is a purpose for everything that she's doing. And part of that was to be able to come home. And in order to do that, she has to stop some very bad men and women from this life that she was put into. And I think her story is very interesting. I pretty much got the entire plot worked out. It's just a matter of fine-tuning some details. But this particular build is from the early part of her story. And I often build places that happen in scenes of my books because it helps me to know the layout and how they're going to move through these scenes and what's going to happen. And I can visualize it if I have to go back to it for, whatever reason. I can open my game and go, okay, this room is here, so she's going to have to move this way, or he's going to have to go this way, and they're going to have to do this. So that's part of the reason why I do this. So I have a whole save file that is all of my romance characters living in. Quite a few of them live in Willow Creek, which is where I'm building this. And I'm building this on a 40 by 30 lot. And I have a lot of fun doing this. This is one of the things I do with The Sims. But I had a lot of fun building this too, because I've already pictured most of what happens in the scenes that take place in this location. And so she is from Dallas. The character Katrina is from Dallas. Her family lives in Dallas. And as a kid, she's walking home from school and she gets snatched. And she doesn't know what's going on. She wakes up in the basement of this bordello in Louisiana, and she doesn't even know she's in Louisiana. And she, of course, is, they must have the wrong person. They're not going to get a ransom. My family can't afford this. What the heck is going on? And when she realizes that they know who she is, and there is still at 14, almost 15, she does not get the significance of the fact that they know her by name. So she wakes up in this basement that I'm building right now. And of course, the door is locked. There are no windows. She cannot get out. She doesn't know what's going on. She's freaked out. And then 3 people come into the room, a man and 2 women. And the older woman, starts to talk to her and lets her know, you're never going to get away. You have a job to do. You've been brought here for a specific reason. And as long as you follow the rules, then everything's going to be fine. And the guy that's with her, I named him Elmer because I was actually watching a Looney Tunes cartoon and Elmer Fudd came up on the screen. So that's his name, Elmer. Last name not Fudd, but Elmer. He's a pervert of the most nasty kind. And Katrina is, even though she's 14, she is well developed. She has a cute little shape. She looks a lot older in her body than you would assume. And he has, develops a sort of a thing for her. And one of his jobs at the Bordello is to train the women who go from living in this basement as housekeepers and cleaners and whatever for the Bordello to working in the rooms upstairs. So he's looking forward to that. But Katrina isn't having that, and she's, planning to escape in some way. And the third person that's comes into the room with them, she realizes is someone who's not much older than her, and she's very docile and seems, reconciled with the fact that she's never getting out of this. And so they leave her with the girl. Elmer standing outside the door. Maureen goes up to her office. And the girl, Melanie, she starts to talk to Melanie like, you've got to help me get out of here. What is this? And Melanie explains to her, there is no getting out of this. Someone that you think you loved and trusted probably sold you, like my mom sold me, into this life. So, I'm stuck here. I have nowhere to go. So just put the clothes on, put on the outfit, and do what you're told. And so, Katrina, not knowing what else to do, goes along with this. When they go upstairs, she is taken to Maureen's office, and Katrina immediately realizes they must have taken her cell phone, and that, if there's, a way that she can find her phone or get a hold of somebody else's phone, then she can, call for help. And of course, they've been doing this for a long time based on the idea that I have of this story. So there's no way she's getting out of this that easy. But it's going to take her a while to realize that. And so I started building the top floor here, or not the top floor, the main floor, the ground floor. And I decided that it needed to have an entryway that's sort of, it's street facing, so people can actually see you. So they're, most of the people in the neighborhood would probably know what goes on in this building, but they don't talk about it. They don't complain about it. They just deal with it. And so this entryway is where the regular common clients come through to enjoy the work of the girls upstairs. But and this picture on the left, I think, kind of looks like what I think Maureen would look like. Maybe her hair's not quite that white. Maybe on the other side are the girls who work there, or some of them. But she can't just go and run out the door because it has a double deadbolt. And I don't know if you know what that is, but what that means is you have to have a key to get out as well as getting in. And growing up, we had a deadbolt like that in our house. So if you were inside and you lost your key and your mom went to work and locked the deadbolt, you pretty much were stuck in the house. Luckily for us, we had another door that we could go out of, so I was never trapped in the house, but I thought that would be a good way to signify why she can't just run out the front door. Now, there is a back door, and that entry there is for those figures who don't want to be seen coming into this kind of establishment. And to get through that door, you have to have a code. There's a keypad by the door. And so she can't necessarily get out the back unless someone uses that keypad and opens that door for her, which we know they're not going to do. So this hallway is simply that. It's a nice hallway with a little decoration and whatever. But she doesn't get to spend much time doing anything other than working. And at this beginning point of the story, her job is literally to work with Melanie and the other girl who sleeps in the third bed in that room named Tiffany, to keep everything in the house pristine and clean. So after a client leaves, their job is to remake the beds, wash the linens, keep the bathrooms that everyone uses clean and pristine. They have a woman who cooks, so they're not really allowed in the kitchen except to take in, something that may be trash or something and put it in the kitchen trash or whatever. And this room that I'm working on right now is the sitting room or living room. And this is one of those kinds of rooms that I think for the most part is only used when a client comes in and let's say one of the girls is occupied with another client still, or maybe they're taking a shower or a bath or whatever to clean up for their next gig. And the client would sit in this room. So there's not a whole lot of entertainment stuff in here. I don't have a radio. I didn't put a TV in here. There are bookshelves with books, but I kind of feel like most of the people who would visit this place aren't going to be grabbing books off the shelf to read. But, it was something that took up space in the room, and I think it looks nice. We do have a fireplace, which typically can be used to heat this place because I'm figuring it's probably an old building that's been there for years. And, I did a red color in almost all of the rooms on the first floor because in my head, that's what it looks like. When I picture this, I see these red wallpapered walls. Some of them are a little more worn and tattered, like the hallway and the entryway. They have, the little stains at the bottom. So those are areas that people have come in a lot. Maybe it flooded at some point from, the way New Orleans is set, and they have hurricanes or whatever. But these rooms, like the living room and Maureen's office, which is the next room that I'll be doing, they are kept in better order. So, if the furniture has a problem, it's fixed or it's replaced. If the walls are, messed up, they fix the wood paneling, they replace it, they do whatever. The picture above the fireplace, I don't know why, but in my head, he kind of looked like a pimp. So that's why I put him on the wall. But it's a nice room, and I think it's understated and kind of elegant. Let me know in the comments what you think of all the red. So in this room, this is Maureen's office. And right here, I realized that I didn't put the iron bars over the windows on the ground floor because this is also a deterrent to Katrina being able to get away. She can't get away if she can't get past the bars on the windows. And so I put bars on all the windows here. And in the office, I had a lot of fun kind of thinking about who Maureen was as a person. So I figure, she's probably been with this organization. This criminal organization is, and I don't think I told you that before, but it is, they go by the initials, the IC. And that stands for Invisible Corporation. And it is a detailed and complex world of criminals with a head honcho guy at the top who gives orders down. And Maureen is, I guess, the lower part of middle management. And she's probably worked her way up from the same start as Katrina. She got taken or sold or whatever by a family member, and has worked as a prostitute and moved up to run the place. And now she's just doing what she knows. And right here, I kind of thought of Maureen as the kind of person who probably wouldn't read a lot. So I took out the bookshelves with books on them and put in these empty ones. And then I'm going to decorate them with knickknacks that I think she might have. But I see her spending a lot of time in this office, away from everyone else. And she does not necessarily live here because she has Elmer and I think James and maybe someone else that she trusts to run the place. So she doesn't stay here anymore, but she's here a lot to run things, and greet clients and handle issues and things like that. So I just decorated it with the things that I thought I could see her. She's probably been in New Orleans for a long time doing this business, and I can see her having, developed some taste for some art, and she's, got nice portraits up on the wall, and she's collected these little jars and knickknacks that she's got on her shelf over time. Maybe they mean something to her if they don't mean anything to anyone else. One of the things that Katrina notices when they come into this office, and she kind of lets her know that she can forget about ever leaving and to get this out of her head, and that Melanie is going to show her her job and she better do a good job at it. Katrina notices that she has a laptop, so she starts thinking to herself, well, she's got to have Wi-Fi or a dial-up or something. I just need to figure out where she keeps all this stuff, and she actually keeps the computer in that picture on the left side of the back window. There's a wall safe back there which contains all kinds of stuff, and so Katrina is already, on her first day trying to figure out how to get out of this place. And she is watched closely because of how she got into this. So Katrina actually was supposed to be groomed to take over the Bordello at some point, which I don't want to give away too much of the spoilers, so I'm not going to tell you everything. But the problem that she has, of course, is with Elmer wanting her for himself. And one day one of the girls dies, and we don't know why. It could be something to do with the guy she was with, don't know. But anyway, Elmer has to come down and let the guy out who was with her out through this back door in the kitchen here. And Katrina realizes, because she follows him, because she thought it was unusual that he didn't go out the front. So she follows, and she sees that there's a code. So she's trying to think of ways to get this code. And the whole thing with finding Elmer, because Elmer was not where he was supposed to be, and neither was Tiffany. And this is when Katrina learns that Elmer trains the girls to work upstairs. And so she catches them, and, he kind of makes a display of what he's doing to Tiffany, and that he can't wait to start training her. And this is the point where she's sort of like, I've got to get the hell out of here. And a few weeks later, she finds a code written on a piece of paper in the room that Tiffany is now moved up to since this woman died. And she's thinking she's got an opportunity to get away. And she talks to Melanie because she thinks she can convince Melanie to go with her. Melanie doesn't want to be there, and she can tell she doesn't want to be there. And Melanie is, like I said, Melanie is resigned. She's like, okay, this is my life. It's never going to be any more than this. Nobody out there cares for me. Nobody's looking for me. I'm fine with what I have to do here. And Melanie in her head kind of has this thing like she's maybe going to end up being the cook or something. She's not planning to become one of the prostitutes, but she knows there are a couple of other options there in the house. But in this process of doing this, Katrina told her what her plan was. And so Katrina comes up with this idea of, as soon as she can find an opportunity to do so, what she does is she hides under the cabinetry, the kitchen sink. And the idea for this came to me because of something my mom did to me when I was about 5 years old. She hid under the kitchen sink. I was expecting her to pick me up from school, and my brother came and got me and walked me home. And, we walked into the house and I was like, where's mom? And he's like, I don't know, and I always came home and got a snack. So I go into the kitchen to get a snack. My mom pops out from under the cabinet, and I'm thinking to myself, how the hell can a grown woman fit under the cabinet? But my mom was 5'2", and even though she was voluptuous, she folded herself up, and it was a great hiding spot. So Katrina hides under the kitchen cabinet, and she's like, they'll think she's gone. They'll open the door. They'll go out. They'll look for her, and then they'll come back, and maybe they'll convene in the office or somewhere, and that'll give her the opportunity to actually get out and get away. And right about the time that everybody comes back in, she waits a little bit. She goes to this door. She starts to put in this code. And then Elmer comes from out of nowhere and grabs her and basically tries to sexually assault her at the end of the table. And in her struggle, she headbutts him, with the back of her head and breaks his nose, which of course he let her go. And, he's mad now and starts coming towards her with his nose all bloody and everything. And she grabs the first thing she can, which happens to be one of those 2-pronged forks, and she stabs him in the throat. And, she keeps stabbing him until he falls down and literally dies. And of course, she is freaked out by this, and she starts kind of taking a step back to move away from him, because he's also now laying exactly where she needs to go to get to the door. And she slips on his blood, knocks herself out, and that's what happens in the first part of her story. And like I said, I don't want to give too much more away because there's lots of good stuff. But the other scenes, the other images that you see here, the dining room, I didn't show the build on that because I don't actually see that coming into the story in any way. And the room that's upstairs where the girl dies is the one bedroom that I actually filmed decorating and building. And I had a lot of fun with this because I had a whole lot of custom content that I had never used. So that patterned wallpaper on that one wall, I had never seen that before, and I thought it was the coolest shade of blue I've ever seen. So I kind of matched up some of the blues in it with that in the curtains. And I had a lot of fun decorating this room because of the blue. Blue is not really a color that I care for. I found these curtains and they kind of outline the blue in that, the darker blue. Took me a while to find the right bed. I knew there was one that had a dark blue that almost matched the curtains, but I had a hard time going through all the swatches to find it. And I really thought the canopy bed would be cute in there, except I wanted a white frame on it and it doesn't have one. So I'm gonna have to work around some stuff. So I found the blue bed and I was like, this is perfect. So I also couldn't find a color that I liked that matched the floor, so I went with the white wood floor. And the artwork on the wall, played around with a couple of, but I like the mountain image. And then I was like, okay, but it's kind of boring on this wall. We need to do something else. And then an idea kind of came to me to put a set of the curtains as kind of a frame around it, which kind of gives you, a faux canopy kind of thing. But I think this room turned out really well. And like I said, in the plotting of this book, the only scene that we actually see in this is that this girl who works there dies in this room, and Elmer has to let the guy out, and then they literally wrap her body up and toss her somewhere. They are connected in ways that you wouldn't believe to police and other government agencies. So that's one of the things that Katrina will learn along the way. But when she comes to, there is a gentleman there who gives her an option that she can either stay there and do whatever it is that Maureen tells her to do, or she can go with him and he will teach her his profession, and she will never have to worry about anyone ever putting their hands on her again. And he lets her, he gives her a couple of minutes to think about it, and she chooses to go with him. And he teaches her how to become what I'm calling in this part of her book, the shadow. She becomes a shadow. And if you want to know more than that, you'll have to tune back in. Maybe I'll do some more in another build. But the other rooms that I did, this bathroom is between the blue bedroom and the green bedroom on the same side. And then this is the hallway, and there is across from that bathroom is the linen laundry room that's on the second floor. And then the green working woman's bedroom, which this room is smaller than the other. So this is where Tiffany will actually end up, one of the girls who's been working as a housekeeper and training with Elmer before he died. And then this room is like high end with its own ensuite bathroom. So when you get on this side, you're doing really well. You're seeing the higher end clientele. And then we have a room that's slightly bigger than that one, that's done in yellows and pinks. And this is also higher clientele with a pink bathroom. Had a lot of fun decorating in here. And then the third floor is where you have the party suites and the kinky rooms. So you've got a pole there for dancing. You've got a bar, bathroom, private bathroom. And then down the hall from that is the kinky bedroom. I had to blur out some of the images because they're explicit, but as you can see, there is BDSM stuff in the room. And then the gold room is bigger still, so you can have a bigger party. 2 sofas, 2 poles, Nice bathroom, and the only bathroom with a tub with jets, jacuzzi jets. So, and then you've got all kinds of bondage stuff in here too, and all kinds of equipment and things. And that is the Bordello in my story. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, give us a like, and I'll see you in the next video.